You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program.
And welcome back. Amy Goodman is with us, the journalist, syndicated columnist, head of Democracy Now!, author of several books, including her most recent, Breaking the Sound Barrier, democracynow.org, of course, the website. Amy, welcome back to our program.
It's great to be with you, Tom, in very difficult times.
Yes, they are very difficult times. Particularly the Citizens United case today, but that's a whole other rant. I want to talk with you about Haiti. You just got back. You've been doing your program from Haiti for most of this week. And Hugh Hewitt, the right-wing talk show host, with an interview with Christopher Hitchens yesterday, said, "We've invaded Haiti. We've dropped troops in the presidential palace. The difference between Bush invading Iraq and Obama invading Haiti is that Bush had congressional authorization and Obama doesn't." Are these guys totally off the reservation, or what's going on down there?
Say that quote again. I'm sorry.
This was the right-wing talk show host Hugh Hewitt. He and
Yes.
Christopher Hitchens. They're agreeing that there's an invasion of Haiti going on. That it's the same thing as when Bush invaded Iraq, except that this one is illegal because Obama does not have constitutional authority.
I see.
Bush was legal because he
Sorry,
did have congressional authority.
My mind around what
it's pretty
saying, but I do
pretty
think
mind-boggling.
That when you're talking about aid, a doctor said it very well when I was down in Port-au-Prince, these incredibly frustrated doctors and nurses, not to mention the population of Haiti, doctors from the General Hospital, doctors from one of the many clinics that have been set up ad hoc all over this country, when they hear about the tons of aid that are sitting at the airport, and yet you see 12,000 U.S. soldiers coming in. We need gauze, not guns. Gauze, not guns.
Are the soldiers not delivering the gauze?
No, they're not. They're there talking about security. They're there. Well, I can describe my experience at the General Hospital. That's called the University Hospital of the State of Haiti, where there are thousands of people either lined up for operations, laying outside the hospital or inside the hospital. They just had to evacuate a part of the hospital yesterday because of the aftershock. I'll tell you also, Tom, that was unbelievable in itself. We sleep outside at night. No one sleeps inside because of the fear of another earthquake. But the fact is, an aftershock is a misnomer. It's an earthquake. This one's 6.1, which is extremely strong. It was about 6 in the morning. We were going to get ready for the show, went into where we were keeping our equipment, a small room that wasn't well fortified, and then we felt the trembling of the earth. In Creole, they call it terre tremblée. In French, la terre de tremblement is the trembling of the earth, and that moment of pure, stark terror, where you race off at top speed through the maze of rooms wherever you are to try to get out of the building before it falls down. It's so incredibly frightening. And for people who've already been through the first earthquake, magnitude 7.0, they're crying, they're weeping outside because, of course, they know what it already feels like. And then you have the people who die in a second quake and a third quake because the buildings have already, they're on their last legs, so to speak. So what's happening with the soldiers? Well, 2 days ago when we went to General Hospital, outside the General Hospital, the 12,000 soldiers had moved in, or thousands of them had moved in around a half an hour before. Now, think about these hospitals. Thousands of people inside. Do you know the number of amputees? No one can know. Just as we can't know, is it 75,000 people have died? Is it 200,000 people have died? Is it more? How many people are homeless? 1 million, 2 million in a country of just over 9 million? Amputees, we haven't seen anything like this. What did Doctors Without Borders say? Since the Crimean War, since the Civil War. These are unnecessary. The reason you have to have your leg amputated more often than not is because you got septicemia because it wasn't treated right away. And then, yes, you do. I watched a kitchen table amputation from beginning to end, a group of Denver doctors around the kitchen table. They get as sterile as they can. They bring in a man who's in his 20s, and they saw off his foot to save his life. This is what we're talking about. And are the soldiers bringing in they were standing outside the General Hospital. Their guns at the ready position, automatic weapons, the bullet belt going from their waist to the ground. and they're there to help. Who exactly is the population they're aiming at? These are mothers and fathers. These are sick people themselves. You know, the hospital doesn't have food and water for any of the patients. And so the family members, if there are family members left to a person who's lost their limbs, or a mother who's had her baby and has to go out but has no home, has no food, has no water, they go out of the hospital and they try to forage up something to bring it back to their patients. And the doctors, the nurses, the administration relies on them going out because they can't offer them anything.
Sure.
So they go out to get something. They're coming back in, and before they know it, for the first time in a week, there's soldiers there pointing guns at their heads, screaming something in English. It happens to perhaps be line up. But how do they know that? And how do they know if they're going to get back in? How do they know if their loved one is going to be alive if they don't get them water or if they don't get them food? And that has been the role. You know, that is why it feels like an occupying force went up to Leogane, the epicenter of the earthquake. And the UN had said that they won't be providing aid out there. They originally said this a few days ago because they have to ensure security first. We went out there. I mean, we didn't feel threatened. Certainly the people felt threatened by not having food, not having water. They have cement dust on their hands. They're covered in this dust because they are clawing at the cement to try to dig up their family members, neighbors who are buried under, well, 1 floor, 2 floor that are all pancaked down. No one's helping them. There's no search and rescue equipment out there, and they feel that they've been forsaken by the world. And yes, so the answer to that question, have some people received aid? I'm sure a very small portion. Listen to the doctors at the hospital who've come in from New York and New Jersey, number of Haitian Americans who come back home, and from all over the United States and all over the world saying, if I could only get, they're using Motrin and ibuprofen for amputations.
Oh, my.
I mean, it is...
And alcohol, I'm assuming.
A frightening scene. Oh, if they have alcohol, and sometimes they don't even have that. The idea of not having anesthesia and these the aftershocks that continue. You have camps all over the country because people are just taking refuge. They're organized in their own communities, and they just stay together in the day and the night. They hug each other. This is what they're doing. They're protecting themselves.
Yeah. In 1980, during the famine that followed the invasion of Uganda by Tanzania to overthrow the Amin administration, I was with a group of people who went into Uganda, and we built a refugee center there, and we were feeding starving people. And one of the problems that we had was when we would bring food in, the healthier, stronger people would mob us. And now, we had no security. We had no guns. We had nothing, and never did. And we did just fine without that. But I know that there were people who couldn't get food because
let me give an answer to this.
It was a Lord of the Flies world.
I was
there.
I was at Matthew 25 house.
We have a half a minute, Amy, by the way. I'm sorry.
What's that?
We have a half a minute. I'm sorry.
Oh, which is a hospitality house. And when a surprise food shipment came, which could have led to a riot, of course, because people hadn't had food for over a week, they called in the community organizations. This is so rare. It would only happen because this was a grassroots organization. When you have people from the community, they turned what could have been in a riot into an orderly line where people got their food. When you know the people, but the international aid organizations that come in, they don't know. And certainly the soldiers, they're just afraid.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
So that's because these communities are still intact. I mean, what I was dealing with in 1980 were almost entirely refugees. They were people from a 400 square mile area. Amy Goodman, democracynow.org. You can see the video, read her all of her brilliant reporting. Amy, thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Thom.
Good talking with you. A sad topic, but.